going on? It's Sheev, the Wise. Welcome back to Vader's Lair. We have some exciting news to talk about today. Finally, another news update, and yes, we're talking about the Ahsoka Show and its new reported director, Peter Ramsey. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's chill out in the lair. Come on by to Vader's Lair Live. Let's go. Welcome into the lair. I hope you guys are doing good. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Really helps us out if you are new. Hope you guys are having a good day so far and a pretty good week. Let's get straight into the news. This is an article from the Hollywood Reporter saying Peter Ramsey tapped as a director of Ahsoka, the latest Star Wars series. Exclusive. And yes, to get into the chat real quick, Darth Chaos says, Spider-Man and Ahsoka confirmed? Indeed. Not really. It's the director. So Peter Ramsey is the director of Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, and he's apparently going to be directing for the Ahsoka show. Not the whole show, but let's get into the article and talk about it a little bit here. So production is getting underway later this month in Los Angeles with the Spider-Verse filmmaker helming at least apparently one episode, they say. And to get into the article, it says Peter Ramsey is going from Spider-Verse to Star Wars universe. The director, who became the first black filmmaker to win the animated feature Oscar as co-director of Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, has been tapped to direct at least one episode of Ahsoka, the latest Star Wars series that Lucasfilm is making for Disney+. The Hollywood Reporter learned, and then they said shooting begins in Los Angeles later this month. The episode count and additional directors have not been revealed as of yet. Lucasfilm has not commented either. Ahsoka centers on the fan favorite Jedi, who we know is going to be played by Rosario Dawson. It says plot details are being kept secret thus far, but the setup has consisted of Tano journeying from one end of the galaxy to another in search of Grand Admiral Thrawn, a former commander in the Empire first introduced in the novels. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, the Ukrainian actress Ivana Sakhnov, and Australian thespian Natasha Liu Bordizzo are on the call sheet as well, with Hayden Christensen set to reprise his role as Anakin Skywalker and Ray Stevenson playing a mysterious villain. Dave Filoni is writing the series and executive producer with fellow Star Wars steward Jon Favreau. Ramsey has been inching his way to live action, making his name first as a storyboard artist on movies such as Fight Club and Men in Black, and then in animation, where he made his feature directing debut with DreamWorks Animation 2012 feature Rise of the Guardians. His co-directing work on 2018's Into the Spiderverse helped make the movie a pinnacle in the animation field. Since then, he has set up 2 live-action feature projects, including Blood Count, a period vampire thriller set up at Paramount, and then Love and Vain, a biopic centered on blues pioneer Robert Johnson. Interesting. So, to say the least though, Ramsey is a very interesting choice of director. Let me know what you guys think of this, and then let's get into some speculation of what him being a director could potentially mean. So I don't know if you guys read the description of the video or not, but potentially I think this could be big news in terms of the fact that, well, David Ramsey helped co-direct Into the Spider-Verse, and if they want to do something ambitious in Ahsoka, a mini-series, from what we've heard, likely a limited series, might even be the last time that we see Ahsoka. It's almost like a farewell for Dave Filoni for the character. I'm just speculating at this point, but I think it's possible, with Peter Ramsey set to direct, they could do something grandiose or on that kind of scale with him as a director, as he handled Into the Spider-Verse so well, in my opinion. I thought he did a great job with it. So let me know what you guys think of that in the chat. Do you think it's possible with him being set in it? Maybe we could see the world between worlds. Do you think that we could get that in the show regardless? Let me know what you guys are thinking on that kind of topic. Derpy Gaming, welcome into the chat. CT0420. Hope you're doing good, my cuzzo. Darth Chaos, good to see you in the chat as well. Don Clatterman and Tim, of course. I hope all of you guys are doing good. Matthew Cruz too. Much love, y'all. Daddy Vader. What up, Derpy Gaming? I don't mind some of his animated stuff. He'll probably only be doing an episode or two, says Darth Chaos. That's what I kind of think as well. Who knows how long the Ahsoka Show will be, knowing it will be kind of a limited or mini series as it says. I don't know though. I'm trying to figure it out. He probably will only do an episode because that's kind of the way they do things over there. But I think it's an awesome choice of director. I think it could be really exciting to see what he could do in the Star Wars universe, let alone in the Ahsoka Show. Sounds good, CT. Sounds good. Matthew Cruz says, "Hey, Sheep, where was Ahsoka during A New Hope, Return of the Jedi?" That is a really good question. Because for a while, I had thought maybe she was in the World Between Worlds for some time. But even then, she would have got out of the World Between Worlds, I think, at the same time that she originally had gone in. And even if she came out towards the end of Rebels, that would have been right before A New Hope. So yeah, where was she? You know, that kind of begs the question. But it's possible she was off doing other things in the galaxy at that point, and there's more story to be told there. So who really knows at this point? I think it's possible she could have, you know, been doing some kind of Gandalf-ish stuff. We'll see though. The Wizard, welcome into the chat. He says no one will do it better than Dave, which Dave was doing the entire thing. I definitely think Dave is going to be doing most of it. I think Dave, that's the cool thing. I think honestly this is going to be Dave Filoni's kind of directing thing. Like I think he's going to helm most of the episodes, but I'm sure he's going to have other directors, just like with The Mandalorian, how they kind of do that. I think we all kind of like the way they do The Mandalorian. I think the different directing styles each have their own kind of beauty and blend into the Mandalorian show that makes it feel so alive in a way. I really think it could be a good thing though. I think it could be a good thing. But I'm hearing you, the Wizard. I'm hearing you. She is his baby indeed. Matthew Cruz says it is going to be a good story, I'm sure. I'm sure too. I mean, Dave Filoni's probably been working on this thing for years. It's probably been in his brain, molding in all these different ways. And I think it might even segue through The Mandalorian Season 3, which I totally forgot, but we need to talk about that as well. Jeez, how could I forget putting this in the title, let alone in everything else? But there's been some rumors and some reports on The Mandalorian Season 3, starting with Giancarlo Esposito, the guy that plays Moff Gideon, basically saying that the show is, he thinks it's going to come out around this summer, which that's probably way too soon. I mean, the show just stopped filming, you know, like, but I've heard reports and different things. There's a lot of speculation going on that it could come at the end of the summer. Maybe it's just a release date that comes at the end of the summer and we still get the show at the back half of the year, like this, you know, literally the end of the year, like December, like we've kind of been thinking. But I don't know, man. It's possible we could get Andor, you know, all this stuff. Like, I think with Star Wars Celebration, a lot of this kind of confusion of when the shows are coming and whatnot is really going to clear up. And I think that it's full throttle kind of going forward, I think it's full throttle and we're going to get a lot of stuff. I don't really know what's coming yet. Obviously, like I said, Celebration is going to clear a lot of this confusion up. But I think a lot more is coming than we even initially thought. Matthew Cruz says it's going to be a good story, I'm sure. And then Darth Chaos said she would be searching for Ezra and Thrawn the whole time. Highly unlikely. Yeah, I don't think she's going to be searching for them the whole time. And then he says, just like we now know, and Kenobi wasn't on Tatooine for 20 plus straight years. Yeah, I get that. That's definitely for sure. People, Tim says, people give directors so much credit. I feel like the story has to be there in the first place. And since Filoni is writing it, I think it can only be good. Yeah, and to be honest, Dave Filoni is even there a lot of times for episodes, giving directors little cues and stuff, and like how he envisions it all. Because at the end of the day, it's George's vision, and the person that can give us the most accurate depiction of George's vision, and probably do it the most like Kurosawa, you know, in his own kind of brilliant way, is Dave Filoni, and the story is coming from his brain. It's maybe brought to life certain episodes by these different directors, but that's just the different kind of blends of the episodes. It's really, the heart of it is all George Lucas in reality. Luke Ahsoka and her show. No, 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 no. No Luke Ahsoka. None of that. I'm down for Luke to be in the Ahsoka show. I think that's going to happen. I think it's possible. All right, little preview for something I'm cooking up in terms of the Ahsoka show for a video. For those of you guys that hang out in the live streams, a little preview here. So the Thoyor was in Clone Wars, and this is a preview for my Thoyor kind of Ahsoka video. There's a Thoyor and Ahsoka, and basically the Thoyor is these like pyramid friggin' ships. I don't even know what to describe them. They're so mind-blowing. Basically, the Thoyor, though, we see it in the Clone Wars Mortis arc. And Ahsoka, Kenobi, and Anakin kind of get sucked into this Thoyor. And in there is this like world that the father, son, and daughter live on. I know the normies are probably like, what are you even talking about? But basically, if you watch The Mandalorian, the season 2 finale, when Luke arrives to save everybody, right? As his X-Wing is landing on the ship, in the background you can see a Thoyor. And the next time we see anything kind of related to the Thoyor, father, son, daughter, was in Rebels when Ahsoka was around and when Ezra actually pulled her between the world between worlds. So, I don't know. The Thoyor to me could be a hint to some of the father-daughter stuff, could be a hint to all the greater force beings that originally taught maybe even the original Jedi how to use the force. So, I don't know. There could be some crazy stuff. Just thinking about it, it's just too much to think because we don't even know. That's a lot of speculation there. But I don't know. It could be a lot of fun. It could be a lot of fun. I think they could definitely bring in the World Between Worlds into the Ahsoka show. And again, Peter Ramsey directing an episode, I think just maybe even is a little hint to that with the whole Spider-Verse thing. If you guys think I'm far off on that, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. No ship. Yeah, I don't ship no Luke Ahsoka. None of that. So let me know in the chat or in the comments if you guys think that it's possible we could get The Mandalorian Season 3 during the summer. I still think it's too early, but let me know if you think it's possible. The next thing I want to dive into with you guys is from Making Star Wars, and it is about a potential announcement at Star Wars Celebration. So the title of this article is Star Wars Tales of the Jedi to be announced at Friday at Celebration. Let's get into it. It says today on the Star Wars Santa live stream, go check out Star Wars Santa's live streams as well. That guy is a dope dude. I love me some Star Wars Santa. It says Santa dropped a pretty big piece of news. Star Wars Tales of the Jedi will have a panel announced that Friday at Celebration. We still don't really know what the project entails. It is a cartoon. Is it a cartoon? Is it live action? Okay. Is it the Grammar Rodeo show? So then maybe Grammar Rodeo is the same thing as Tales of the Jedi. It says, so you can expect that all to be answered officially at Star Wars Celebration on Friday. So Making Star Wars and Santa hang out every Monday morning, and it's they did a stream with Star Wars Meg as well, and of course all of them, Star Wars Santa, all of them positive Star Wars YouTubers. Says I really dig his channel, of course. So that's pretty exciting news, though. That's basically the base of it. I thought there was more to this article, but there is another article from them we could potentially get into. That's pretty interesting, though. So they say that the Tales of the Jedi show is supposed to apparently come out or be announced at Star Wars Celebration. If it's the Grammar Rodeo show, we did hear it's supposed to be kind of a live action show with children Jedi. And I don't know if that would be set in the High Republic era, as it was kind of rumored to. That definitely could be the case still. A lot of the High Republic authors are rumored or set to be at Star Wars Celebration. So maybe there's going to be, the second wave of High Republic stuff announced, or maybe some new High Republic movies and shows and stuff. So like, you think to The Acolyte or potentially other shows like this, Tales of the Jedi, that could potentially be set in that era. And it could be a big reason why these book authors and people are set to be there as well. Matthew Cruz says, I freaking love Star Wars Santa stream. Star Wars Santa's the homie. OG, what's up, Star Wars MCU OG? I hope you're doing well. Chaos says, I feel like if they do, it'll definitely be split timelines. Interesting. I think there's some rules to be set up with the World Between Worlds that Dave has kind of already started to set up. I don't think you can change things like that. And I think there's some very specific things, like you can't, I'm not saying that you can't do things like that, but I think there's some serious consequences, and maybe it could lead to a split timeline, but I don't think they're going to go that route in Star Wars. It's tough because I was thinking about it today, listening through the Thrawn trilogy of books. That Kanan moment where Kanan sacrifices his life in Star Wars Rebels is even more significant than fans maybe even realize. It was probably the deciding moment that led to the fall of the Empire. It literally was that big of a moment. And if Ezra took Kanan out of that moment in the World Between Worlds, I think that could have changed everything. So I don't really know exactly. Of course, I think there are some set rules that need to be kind of put on the World Between Worlds if it's going to be used again. But I think it is going to be used again, and I really hope it is used again. Daniel Fisher, welcome into the chat. I hope you're doing well. No worries for being late. The younger one doesn't want to go to sleep. Oh, that sounds like some trouble. I wish you good luck. I don't. That's gonna be rough. I hope you can figure that out. Talented Mr. Griffin, welcome into the chat as well. Oh, what happened? Matthew Cruz with a $3 tip. Thank you for that, my guy. He says, give me an episode 1 Ahsoka Show theory prediction, please, bro. Oh, that's tough. That is tough. You want an episode 1 Ahsoka theory. That's the reason that's so hard for me, is because I don't know if they're going to try to introduce Sabine and her and kind of the idea of them searching for Ezra in Mandalorian season 3, or if that's going to be something that's kind of put at the very beginning of the Ahsoka show. That is a tough one. Matthew Cruz, for the $3, I gotta do it, but whew. Alright, so I think we're gonna probably see Ahsoka and Sabine in Mandalorian season 3 and kind of have their story set up for them journeying off. Maybe Mando even helps them kind of search for him. Maybe it even starts with her, picking up Sabine from Lothal. That would be really cool if it just picks up right from there, from the end of Rebels, and they go to find the position that she has finally got of where Ezra and Thrawn may be. And the first episode ends with them, talking about it and maybe having some flashbacks to Ezra and stuff. Maybe even Sabine talking about some stuff. Who knows? I think Sabine is probably going to be maybe even more involved in Mandalorian season 3 than Ahsoka, but that's speculation. That's just me thinking that. Obviously we don't really know. It's so far out, but if I think it's possible we could get the final part of episode 1 of Ahsoka just revealing Thrawn and Ezra, or potentially Ezra, which would be awesome. That would be freaking awesome, and well worth the wait. Well worth the wait, if I do say so myself. Callisto, I hope you're doing well, by the way. I don't know if I said hello to you yet. Much love. What else are we saying in the chat? Well, my theory. I don't know if I do, Dawn. I might have forgot. I have a terrible memory. Tim says, I don't think we're getting that much crossover stuff in Mando season 3. The reason I would... You might be right, just because I think Sabine's probably been chilling on Lothal for a while. But I don't know. I think there could be some setup in it. I don't know. It's tough with the Mandoverse and everything. Like, we know there's going to be a Mando Plus kind of day at Star Wars Celebration, or at least a panel for it, right? I think it's supposed to be like a 90-minute panel, which is apparently a little bit longer than most of them. So I don't know, man. Like I've heard Star Wars Meg talking today about Rangers of the New Republic, and it really was kind of eye-opening thinking about that again, because it feels like they kind of set up Rangers of the New Republic at the end of the Book of Boba Fett. You think back to maybe they used the bikers or Black K, which the actor that played Black K is supposed to be at Star Wars Celebration, which is super dope. And then, you know, Maud Vanth or Cobb Vanth being in the back to tank in the final scene. Like, I feel like they kind of set up maybe Cobb Vanth being in Rangers of the New Republic, or being kind of the main guy for that. I don't know though. They could still do the Rangers of the New Republic, whatever this Tales of the Jedi thing is. Grammar Rodeo, if it's not the same thing as Tales of the Jedi. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Will this be the final season? If so, I can see it setting up other spin-offs. Are you talking about Mando, or are you talking about Ahsoka? I think you're talking about the Mandalorian Darth Chaos, and if you're talking about the Mandalorian, there was talks at one point, or at least rumors, that the Mandalorian season 3 was going to be the last season, and that's not what I believe anymore. That's since been kind of debunked. It seems like there's probably gonna be as many seasons of the Mandalorian as they can squeeze out, or, you know, as many as the story allows it to be, which is really what it should be. But it will probably set up other spin-offs, which is hence the Mando Plus, or I think that's what the panel is called, Mando Plus. So yeah, I think it's gonna set up more spin-offs. I still think Rangers of the New Republic, whatever else might come out of it too. I think there's a lot of things that could potentially come out of it. Maybe even a Rebels sequel spin-off of the Ahsoka Show. I don't know, because I still think Sabine and Ezra could be chilling around and doing their thing in the galaxy. Maybe even Hera or Jason Syndulla. I think it's definitely possible a Rebels sequel could spin off from the Ahsoka Show, with the Ahsoka Show kind of being like a Rebels sequel in the first place. But Talented Mr. Griffin says, I'm a huge fan of the Ronin character from Visions. How would you incorporate this character into the current timeline? Whew. That's interesting. I feel like Ronin is a character you have to do either very early on in the timeline, or very like after Rey kind of thing. That's what I think for Ronin. That's a tough question though. That's a tough question. I don't know how you would exactly put him into the timeline, but I feel like that's kind of how it could be. Maybe even after the time of the Sith Wars. Maybe he's one of the remaining kind of Sith acolytes, or Sith, I don't know, apprentices. That would be kind of interesting. That would be interesting. Book of Boba Fett gave us flashbacks and Maud Vanth spice. You already know, Chaos. You already know. Tim says, I feel like Mando Season 3 is kind of the ending for the Mando story, while Ahsoka sets up future stuff, and they're going to cross over for whatever happens in the future with the Mandoverse. Interesting. That is very interesting. I don't know, man. I'm so baffled as to what they're doing in The Mandalorian, and that's why I really love it. Like, it's so exciting to see this era of the timeline and what they're kind of doing with it so far, kind of even setting up in a way its own kind of rendition of Heir to the Empire. Man, like, and dude, I'm telling you guys, I'm going through these Thrawn books right now, and wow, I'm on the last one of, so I read through the prequel kind of Thrawn books, the Ascendancy trilogy. Fantastic trilogy, kind of gives you the backstory of Thrawn, how he came into the Empire, and then you get into the first Thrawn trilogy, which is his entrance into the Empire, and everything kind of leading through parts of season 3 and 4 of Rebels, and like leading directly into kind of the finale of Rebels, leading to what happens with him and Ezra, which I'm still reading the end of that trilogy, and man, it's wild. It's wild, man. 5 seasons per multiple people. I think Mando could be 4 or 5 seasons. I think 5. I hope 5. That's why I think for the Bad Batch, I thought originally 5 for the Bad Batch, but I think 5 to 7 for the Mandalorian. Cross my fingers for that. All depends on who the Mandalorian really is. I think the Mandalorian is both Din Djarin and Grogu, but that is remained to be seen. It's probably Din Djarin, but they will milk Grogu and Din. Yeah, they will. They definitely will. As they should. They should do an animation a la Disney Plus logo, but have Grogu force push the plus. They should definitely do that, Daniel Fisher. Definitely trademark that one, Daniel Fisher. Send it to them in a email and tell them, give me all the monies. 5 is a fair request. I think so too, Callisto. I think so too. Give me 5. Matthew Cruz says, I think Mando going for a few seasons and reestablishes Mandalore. Definitely where I think it could be going to. We'll see if that's kind of the ultimatum in season 3, maybe even. Maybe the show only needs 3 seasons, but I think season 3 is probably going to lead into at least 4 or 5. But I don't know. That's being hopeful. Tim says, I feel like since they called it Timeline of the Mandalorian, there has to be more because they would just end up fighting for Mandalore and the Darksaber again and again, right? Interesting point. So you're thinking kind of a Game of Thrones, fighting for the throne, fighting for the Darksaber, maybe even other Mandalorian elements kind of come into play through it, or other historic artifacts. Like there's this like helmet that I don't even know anything about, so I don't know. I think that could be possible though, Tim. I like what you're saying there, timeline with the Mandalorian. Maybe there is kind of other Mandalorian spin-off stuff with other Mandalorian people and whatnot. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Maybe like a show about a contender to the throne, or like I don't know. What are you thinking there, Tim? Because that's interesting. That's real interesting. Eli is the man. You talking about Eli Vanto? Bruh. Eli Vanto is definitely the man. That's like mini Thrawn. Love that guy. I think that's what you're talking. We better get the Mythosaur. Yes, I think we will. I think we will get the Mythosaur. We'll see. We'll see. Tim says, I just like the idea of Mando turning into a different show. It's still the same basically, but with a different name. I feel like in a way it's already starting to kind of do that. Because originally it just was this lone gunslinger. He was a... Oh, Matthew Cruz! Was that again? Yo! Matthew Cruz, I appreciate it, man. He says, Omega and Ahsoka? I don't know about that one, man. That's a real interesting question. I don't know, because I think there's a lot of other things we could see Omega in first. So here, we'll go into speculation town a little bit here. What do you think is more likely for Omega to show up in? The Andor show that's set probably like 10 years, within 10 years of the Bad Batch, or like 15 years, somewhere within like 10 to 15 years, within a 10 to 15 year span where Omega would actually be in her like prime. Do you think that would be more likely, or do you think it would be more likely we see Omega in Ahsoka at around the same age as Boba Fett? Because I think that's possible. I feel like she'd be more likely to pop up in like a Book of Boba Fett season 2. I don't know though, because she is kind of a Dave Ahsoka kind of character, where like people kind of were like unsure of her, and like I think a lot of people like her, and she's gonna develop into a very interesting character. She's like the sister of Boba Fett, you know. I think that's possible that she could be in Ahsoka, but like I said, I think more likely she's going to be in the Book of Boba Fett. But to Tim's point before, saying that it's like a different show still, but but he wants it like with a different name kind of thing. Okay, so you're saying change the Mandalorian, make it like the Mandalorian still, but it's under a different name, like the Mandalorians with the plural, like that. I just think getting different pieces of the puzzle with Ahsoka and Mando, it all seems like set up for something bigger to me. I think it is too. Maybe it's a big fight culmination with Thrawn or something even bigger like the Grisk. Who knows though? Who knows? Tim says, I think 5 seasons still sounds realistic though. I'm just speculating. I think it's realistic. I think it is. And fair enough, man. I like to speculate too. You already know. Dawn says, yes, the Mask of Mandalore. Thank you. That's what it's called. Yeah, I think the Mask of Mandalore has more like credence or power per se than the Darksaber even. Matthew Cruz says, I know it don't tie in, but it would be surprised. I think it's coming soon to tie in and bring her into the Book of Boba Fett or Mandalorian. Yeah, I think if they did a Book of Boba Fett season 2, Ahsoka would be kind of a dead giveaway kind of person to do. And honestly, with how much hype we've been getting like about Andor and like barely anything, I feel like Andor is the most slept on Star Wars thing ever. And like it's not slept on because everybody's super excited for it in a way. From like basically everyone I know that's a Star Wars fan is excited for Andor. It's just like we don't know what to expect. It's just a very cool time period with a lot of characters that could potentially show up in it. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like I feel like the Bad Batch season 2 could be coming out sooner than we actually think still. And the Bad Batch season 2 could maybe even tie into... I don't know how much of a time jump, because we did hear there could potentially be a little bit of a time jump in the Bad Batch season 2. I don't know how much of a time jump there would be. But I think it could maybe tie in loosely to the Andor show. Kind of like how Obi-Wan is kind of... I don't know. I don't think Obi-Wan's going to be in Andor, and I don't think there's going to be any real like tie-in to Andor, but there's like going to be loose tie-ins, you know, like with obviously Darth Vader being in Rogue One could be in the Andor show. He's obviously going to be in Kenobi. But then you think of characters like Bail Organa, the senator, father of Leia Organa, you know, he could be in Andor. He could easily be Kenobi, Andor, that kind of thing. So maybe the Bad Batch is even in Andor, or maybe Andor or some stuff in Andor is set up in the Bad Batch. You think about it too, there's a lot of Imperial kind of missions and stuff going on during the Bad Batch, and stuff we already heard about with Crosshair being part of their ranks. If Crosshair goes back to the Bad Batch, goes back to the Empire, it's possible we hear even more of these kind of codes and things come out. And maybe some of those codes are things that pop up in Andor, like we got Rogue One codes popping up in the Bad Batch. Tim says every single person says it's slept on, so is it slept on? LOL. Yes. I feel you, because I'm asking the same question here, Tim. I'm feeding off that energy, right? I feel like it's not slept on because everybody is saying it's so slept on. But at the same time, like with the people that could actually be in the show, like normies don't care about Andor right now. Nobody. If I ask my mom or my brother, hey, are you excited for the Andor show? They'd be like, what? What are you talking about? What is that? So like in a way, it's slept on, because when normies see that show, I think they're gonna be right. Just saying. Tim says, I'm just wondering because all I hear about Andor, it's gonna be amazing. Yeah, that's all I hear about too. And like that's the thing, is I love how tight knit it's been. We haven't really heard anything about Andor. I kind of want it to stay that way, with it kind of hopefully being around the corner, with it probably being the next show after Kenobi. I'm hoping it stays kind of tight knit. Nothing comes out. I get it though. It's an underdog for sure. 100%. Really? I thought I'd heard that Obi-Wan was an episode of it. So talented Mr. Griffin said he had thought that he heard Obi-Wan was in an episode of Andor. This has been a rumor that's going around. And I'm not going to say it's not possible. I'm not going to say Obi-Wan isn't in the Andor show. Like, I think there's a chance he could be. But I don't think it would make a lot of sense. We already were kind of speculative of him going off. A lot of people were speculative of potentially him going off world, which has already been confirmed by, like, I think Deborah Chow and some other people at Lucasfilm. But you know, a lot of people were like, oh, well, it wouldn't make sense for Kenobi to go off world in the Kenobi show because he's been on Tatooine all this time and whatever. And like, there's already some kind of loose stuff with him doing what we think he might be in that show. So to bring him into the full rebellion and have him in Andor in some type of way, I don't know. Maybe it's not even that deep. Maybe it's just kind of a loose, like, you see him and that's it. But also, I don't think Ewan was over in the UK filming over there because people would have probably heard about that. I don't think he's in it. I want a Rebels movie or show that's like Rogue One before A New Hope. Bro, that's Rebels. That is Rebels in its essence, man. Like, I don't know, Cruz, because that's kind of what Rebels is like. It leads to A New Hope. I don't know. I don't know. Daniel Fisher says, I think that Kenobi has glue, like the meme with a guy looking back to Oh, okay, so you're saying the live action Rebels. Oh. Yo. Okay, so I think I've talked about it on the channel before. I never had thoughts of the Rebels characters popping up in Rogue One, let alone in the Andor show. And you think back to Rogue One and you see Chopper, you see the Ghost, you see Hera Syndulla's name is basically called Captain Syndulla to Brig 7 or whatever it is. I mean, the dudes who made Tony Gilroy, the dudes that worked on Andor, clearly either were talking with Dave or loved the Rebels show, maybe both. And I think it's definitely possible with this being set around the same time as the Rebels kind of thing. I think it would honestly be, from what I've heard, Andor could be set about a year before Rebels. Maybe 2. So it's possible we could see the Ghost crew in the Andor show. And someone, I think Star Wars Obsession brought this to my attention. And I was just like, what? Like, yo, I would love to see a live action Kanan, Hera, Zeb, the whole crew, Chopper. Do it. Do it, Star Wars. You must put the Rebels Ghost crew into the Andor show. I would love that. I would love that. I hope that Dave and John reveal a little bit about the bigger picture of the universe they're building at Celebration. Yeah, there is supposed to be the whole little Dave, John, Disney Plus, Mando Plus kind of, panel. So I think that will be kind of the case. I'm hoping we just get more clarity of what's coming in the future in general. I don't want to have to kind of speculate on dates all the time. I want kind of time frames of when we can expect this stuff, not just the year. I know I'm asking for a lot here. But I'm with you, Tim. I want to kind of know some of the bigger picture of what they're building too. I think a little peek would be dope. Matthew Cruz says, that's what I'm saying, bro. Characters we love from Rebels and live action. Yes. I think that's coming. I think it's coming. Especially with Ahsoka too. I would love to see Jason Syndulla kind of get his own show at some point. Can maybe have like Ezra Bridger kind of train him. How cool would that be, man? The Wizard says, what if Omega is the key to Palp's cloning? I feel like the Bad Batch is heading in the direction of explaining the clones. The Palp clones. I don't know if Omega's going to be the explanation. She could be a part of the process. And I think Grogu might be the real explanation. So what if maybe Grogu even pops up in the Bad Batch? Because we don't really know what happens to Grogu before his time leading into when he's abandoned or all alone when Din Djarin finds him at the beginning of The Mandalorian. So what do you think of that? Maybe the Bad Batch have to even rescue Grogu from Mount Tantus or something at one point. I think Mount Tantus is going to be the key, and I love that you said that cloning is probably going to be the key to what's kind of going on in the Bad Batch. I love that. Matthew Cruz says, but after the end of Rebels, I guess they could show up in Andor. But a whole show, just Zeb and Callus and Hera and Chop. I would love that. I mean, I think, like I said, I think they could do a Rebels sequel that's like live action post Ahsoka, that like kind of spins off of Ahsoka, where it is the Ghost Crew back, but Ezra is the new Kanan now. He's kind of the leader of the group. Not that Sabine is going to take Hera's place, but Sabine and Hera are obviously kind of up there as well. And then you got Zeb still, maybe even Callus. And then Jason Syndulla is kind of the Padawan to Ezra's Kanan, you know? I would love that. Talented Mr. Griffin says, Zeb would be my only concern. We don't want another Grand Inquisitor situation. Yeah, I get you. And like, that's the thing, is like, people gotta... It's very interesting mixing in from live action and animation and all that, and I get the concern. I really do. Especially with Zeb. I get that. I think they can pull it off, though. I hope they can pull it off. Chaos says, we're getting some of Rebels characters scattered throughout. Yeah, it seems like they're really pushing that forward. They really were such a big part of the timeline. Like I said, like reading through the Thrawn trilogy of books right now, like Kanan's sacrifice is probably the most pivotal, even more pivotal than probably the Death Star even. Because it leads, like, Kanan's death leads to what happens with the Death Star, and the fact that the Death Star was the main plan for the Empire at that point. Because you think back to Rebels, and there was actually a contending project called the TIE Defender Project that Thrawn was leading. There was going to be something either to coincide with the Death Star, or maybe even potentially make the Death Star obsolete, where they didn't even need it other than to, you know, have it as like an extra big stick to carry, you know, to kind of threaten people with. But if they had the TIE Defender Project and it went into full operation like Thrawn was potentially planning, things could have ended up a lot different for the Empire and for the Rebellion. And Kanan's sacrifice and the fact that the fuel refinery was destroyed at the end of Rebels was probably the most crucial part of what ended up happening to the Empire. Brian Stone, welcome into the chat, my guy. It's good to see you here. I hope you're doing well. No worries for being late. It's good to see you in the chat. Reeferman Reviews, he says Yaddle is showing up in Kenobi. Confirmed. 100% truth. This is news to me. I have heard some stuff in the past kind of floating around about Yaddle here or there, and nothing like concrete that I can confirm. I don't know about her being in Kenobi though. That's wild, Reefermans. I just got off the phone with Mike Zero, he says. He told me Yaddle will be in Kenobi 100%. Yo. What? Mike Zero told you that himself? The man, the myth, the legend? Yo. 100% confirmed. 100%. No, probably not. Probably not. I would love to see Yaddle in it though. Maybe she is the mama of Baby Yoda. Just putting that out there. Who knows? Who knows? Sandra, welcome into the chat. You work on this channel? Nah, you don't work on this channel. Pedro's been fired 14 times in the last 2 weeks. Oh, probably in the last like month. No, you're probably right, 2 weeks. But yeah, I mean, even Pablo Hidalgo was making fun of it. He was saying he found out from Mike Zero that he got fired like 4 times this past week. Pretty sad stuff, man. Y'all are wild. Tim says nobody complains when Netflix releases a trailer with the release date 1 month before the actual show. Just saying. Nobody cares about Netflix either. No, I'm just I mean, like, in a way though, what franchise does Netflix own to where people would care? Just saying. But I get you, Tim. You're right. You right. I guess we just gotta be patient. It just sucks not knowing when stuff is coming and not having the hype. You know? That's what it really is. Like, I only want to know the dates so we can set, like, a real timeline of when we're doing stuff on the channel so that I can make content oriented around certain things instead of just guessing. So that we can get hyped. Instead, they just want to beat around the bush, not tell us the real dates. You want movie dates? We got movie dates till 2027. So, yeah, I get that. Alright, I'm talking about shows, to be honest, more than the movies. If I'm being honest, and I don't want just 2022, it's coming. When? When is it coming, 2022? Is it the back half of the year? Is it coming spring? No, it's not coming spring anymore. Well, when is it coming? Never. I'm just kidding. That's what Mike Zero would tell you. Streaming marketing just works differently is what I'm saying. No, I know. And it sucks. Makes a few videos that it has been said KK is stepping down. I don't know who said it. Mike Zero. Darth Chaos says they already released set photos for Witcher. It depends on the show and the following. All Netflix has really is Stranger Things and The Witcher. Yeah, true. Mr. Griff, I'd love the future stories featuring Cade Skywalker versus Darth Krayt. That's probably not happening. I doubt that, especially with the whole Ben Solo thing, but that would be dope still. That would be dope still. It has been said by some. Somehow, Palpatine returned. Somehow, Kathleen Kennedy stepped down. The Umbrella Academy is pretty badass. You're not wrong. I'm just saying. Do you really care about the Netflix shows the way you care about Star Wars? Especially if you're watching the Star Wars channel. I don't know. You're right. You're right, Tim. We expect too much of them. We do. Oh, Lord Vito with a $5 chat. Let's check in what the chat says. He says, has anyone ever told you that you kind of look like Luke Bryan? No. Luke Bryan? Who's this? That sounds like a country yeah, it probably is. Yep, country singer. I knew it is. No, I see it a little bit. It's in the nose, maybe. That's interesting. I never heard that before. It's I appreciate it, Lord Vito. Hope you're doing well, my brother. Look like you had a good weekend. Where did my chat go? I've listened to so much country music in Tennessee. I bet. Hey, but I will say, man, that trailer for Stranger Things today was pretty lit. I love me some of that Journey, man. That was a good trailer. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna check the news. Oh, what happened? Tim donated $5. Much love. I appreciate it, Tim. You already know, Tim, you are the absolute GOAT, my guy. I appreciate that. Thanks, brother. Hell yeah, Stranger Things new season looks great. I put a reaction up myself. That's what's up, dude. It does look good. It does look good. I'm excited for it too, which like I didn't think. I saw the whole like the trailer release this morning. I was like, don't really care about Stranger Things that much anymore. And then I watched the trailer and I was like, you put some Journey in the trailer, y'all got me hooked. I'm in. I'm in. Had some like, I saw people talking about the dude at the end of the trailer looked like not the Grisk, but the Yuzan Vong. It was kind of funny. Interesting. Reefer Man says, seriously, regarding Kate Skywalker, he could be related to Rey because she is a Skywalker. Interesting. Cade Palpatine. I like it. I like that. The Wizard says, yeah, I def hope they do expand Palp clones. It would be dope to have it filmed like Revenge of the Sith, where we know the good guys lose, but in the long run win. I'd love that too. I'd love another Revenge of the Sith style kind of thing that happens in the galaxy, even if it's not like, it doesn't even have to be as big as Order 66, you know, but if they did something like that where the bad guys win, or like, you know, it's a new era for the dark side. That would be dope. You almost wish that the sequels ended with Rey getting Palpatine kind of put into her or whatever, like his essence. The Sith, all of the Sith now reside in Rey. That would have been dope. Mike, mother flippin' Potter, welcome into the chat, my guy. I hope you're doing well. Hello there to you. Reefer Man says, exactly. What if he learned the past and learned his great grandfather or whatever was the Emperor Palpatine at a time when he was fighting with balance? I love it. I love it. They should do it. All the Mike Porter love. You love to see it. It's Luke Temple getting destroyed. Yes. Indeed. Incest is not the Disney way. No grandpa essence going into Rey. I mean, it's the Star Wars way, though. You know, as weird as that is. You think about Empire, brother and sister smooching. I mean, Han Solo disappeared after that film. Oh, I'm dead. Lord Vito says, if I could knight Mike Porter, I'd call him Lord Porter. Indeed. That is Lord Mike Porter to you. Grand Admiral Porter. No, that'd be Moff. Grand Moff Porter is really what it would be. I really don't know what Jeff Goldblum has to do with it, but where is Jeff Goldblum? What the heck? The Order 66 type stuff you said you want to see when Luke Temple gets burned. Okay, I feel that. I don't know if it's quite the same hit because they did a lot of that stuff in the actually showed a lot of that stuff in the comics, and it definitely was cool, but it wasn't like, you didn't have the emotional bond to all of these characters you saw throughout the prequels. And yeah, we didn't get that much of Ki-Adi-Mundi and Mace Windu and all these dudes. But I mean, like, they were there. You don't really ever see the Jedi from Luke's temple. They're just dead. But I feel you. And I think, honestly, if there's any show that could potentially bring that kind of dark side, Order 66 kind of vibe, I think it could be the Acolyte, because who knows, maybe there will be some kind of like Sith Acolyte stuff. Maybe it's even well, it's supposed to be like the end of the High Republic era, I think, but what if it's kind of like the Night Sister kind of thing, or I don't know. I'm down for the Acolyte though, and I think there could be some kind of dark things that happen in that show. I'm all for it. Chaos Theory, interesting. I'm waiting for Christopher Lloyd to be announced as playing Jorah Sabayoth. That would be dope. I would love for Jorah Sabayoth to be Christopher Lloyd and just be in the show in general. Read my name, Mike Lord Porter. Welcome, my lord. Dude, I need to know who the armorer is this season. I still think it's Rook Cast, if I'm being honest. Rook Cast being one of the Mandalorians from the Clone Wars, from that final Clone Wars amazing arc, the Siege of Mandalore. She would be the Mandalorian that's kind of with the leader and everything. I think it's her. I think that's Rook Cast, but that maybe it's not. Maybe it's just someone else that was part of that group. Who really knows? But I think it was Rook Cast. We'll see. I think we'll see. I like that, Vito. definitely need to find out who the armor is. Yeah, I think having some confrontation between her and Bo-Katan would be real fun. It would be real fun. I'm still holding out that it's Omega, says Vito. I would love that. Only if Jorah Sabaoth says, "Great Scott!" They have to do that. I don't care who he plays. They have to do it. Mandalorian Martin, welcome to the chat. He says, Mando needs to redeem himself to armor after taking his helmet off. He does. I think he's going to go to the living waters beneath the mines of Mandalore. That's probably where he's headed to at some point in season 3. That's what I think. I think it may be one of Maul's Mandos too, says Star Wars MCU OG. Indeed. It makes the most sense. They would have been off-world on Concordia, which is where that kind of sect of Death Watch people who saved Din Djarin would have been. It just makes sense. She has even horns on her helmet. It's a dead giveaway, people. Don Clotterman says Mando needs to tell Armor to kick rocks. Indeed. Go touch grass. Rooferman Reviews says, I think he's going to redeem himself, but realize he doesn't need to. I think he's going to rise above. In a way. I think in a way, I definitely agree with him rising above. He has the Darksaber, you know. He has a claim to the throne. I think he could rise above, indeed. Lord Vito says, think about it. Who else skilled enough to take down every other Mandalorian except for the last and most powerful clone? I don't know who. Oh, okay, you're saying Omega. Don says Mando needs to tell. Oh, yeah, to kick rocks. Yeah, indeed. Mando fights Bo-Katan, but then meets Sabine Wren. I would love. We talked about it earlier in this stream, but I would love to see Sabine in The Mandalorian season 3. I don't know if it would make canonical sense, a whole ton of it, unless I don't know. Maybe Ahsoka goes to get Sabine after season 2 of The Mandalorian, and then season 3 she already has her, and the two run into each other in the beginning of the Mandalorian, or at some point during Mandalorian season 3 with the whole Darksaber, and maybe going back to Mandalore, maybe reclaiming it. Maybe they get caught up in that, help out Din Djarin, and Din Djarin goes to help them out because he has a way of doing that. You know, Din Djarin rubs to scratch people's back and have them scratch his too. You know. I don't know. I'd love to see it though. What if Mando finds the plus? He already has the Darksaber. Bruh. Say what? Boba Fett was the Alpha and she is the Omega. Indeed. Cad Bane I sent to kill Baby Yoda by the Pikes. What? No, Mandalorian Martin. Nah. What if Cad Bane's alive during the Mandalorian season 3? Maybe. I don't know why the Pikes would be after Baby Yoda, except for, I guess maybe they would think he stopped them, but he really stopped the Rancor more than anything. I don't know why they would send Cad Bane after Baby Yoda. If anything, they would send Cad Bane to go get. He would probably want to go get Boba Fett again, don't you think? Dude, trust me, bro. Welcome into the chat. He says, I'm late as always. It's all good. It's all good. I don't know, Mando Martin. That'd be cool, though. Hey, what's up, Gaston Carabelli? Welcome into the chat. It's good to see you, my guy. I'm Def gonna be awake for that? Def. What else is we saying? Let's check the Reddits real quick. See if I missed anything. Any new updates? There's a few things I'll talk about probably later in the week or maybe even next week. There was kind of some stuff about Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan again, but I'm not going to talk too much about that. MCU OG, I definitely got to get working on that children's merch, my guy. I got to get going on that for sure. Disney Galactic Star Wars Hotel exposed. okay. Looking through the news. Okay, so along with the whole Mandalorian season 3 coming end of the summer, coming in the summer thing, Steve Weintraub, who works over at Collider, tweeted and said that Mandalorian season 3. Let's see the full tweet here. Mandalorian season 3 will arrive end of this year. It will not be streaming this summer. And that makes sense with it's previously come out like the end of the year in the past for me, season 1 and 2. It's been kind of the October kind of late end of the year, and that would make sense with the whole December kind of thing that we heard too. So Steven Weintraub, not saying he's, you know, end all be all his word, but he is the editor-in-chief over at Collider, so take that for what you will in terms of the Mandalorian season 3 coming at the end of the year. Hopefully, I think we can all cross our fingers on it. Sonic 2 is the best video game movie I've ever seen, hands down. Now I gotta, yeah, like Darth Chaos, now I need to watch Sonic 2. I didn't even see Sonic 1, but heck, I gotta see Sonic 2 now. I'm okay with the hold on Mando because we have such much coming out soon. Yeah, we do have a lot coming out soon, with Kenobi coming in May, and then Andor, and maybe even the Bad Batch season 2 still this year. I don't really know. I'm hopeful. Mandalorian Martin says when Vader appears in season 3 and meets Mando for first time, Vader and Mando dual lightsaber clash and darksaber. That's not possible, but I wish. I mean, if it's like a Force ghost of Vader, maybe, or something. I don't know. But Vader's dead during the Mandalorian. He's dead. Sad face. Jedi Jen, welcome into the chat. I hope you're doing good. It's good to see you here. Much love. What else are we saying? Hey, yeah, definitely got to get that thing going. I get okay. There was a Star Wars. Speaking of kids stuff, there's a new Star Wars kids short series coming called Star Wars Galactic Pals. I haven't looked too much into it, but take that for what you will as well. Kind of fun. Oh gosh, I don't think I talked about this yet, but there was this, maybe I did last week or during some gaming streams recently, but there was a leaked Ahsoka set photo that was out there, and it was basically of Ahsoka, Darth Maul, and a dead Boba Fett on the floor. And it was just like, whoa, this looks kind of legit. But then you look at like the cameras, and there's like, if you really zoom in, it kind of doesn't look too real. And it's definitely not. I'll tell you that. It took me probably 2 minutes, maybe even less than that, to be like, is this real? Looking at it, and I'm like, nah, this isn't real. And you know, it was so annoying because we have this like set up in my Discord where it's like we get alerts for some of the latest stuff happening in Star Wars and some of the latest news. So if you want to check that out, go check out our Discord first of all. But it was like picture after picture of people posting this Ahsoka picture, trying to figure out if it was real. It's like, no, this isn't real. Stop. Give us late people a rundown of what we missed, says Smith Family TV. Rewind. No. We talked a little bit about a whole bunch of stuff. We talked a little bit about the Peter Ramsey directing for the Ahsoka Show, because that is the latest rumor. He directed the Into the Spiderverse movie, or at least co-directed it. So I'm really excited for that. I think it could potentially lead us to stuff like The World Between Worlds. I'm hopeful, at least. And then we talked about the Andor show. I didn't actually talk about this yet, but we talked about some celebration stuff, like the Andor show could potentially get a trailer at Celebration, which I would love. We talked about some characters that could be in the Andor show from other things, Bad Batch season 2. And then there was also an announcement, I think, that could be coming for a show that would be called The Tales of the Jedi, or at least that's what we kind of heard. Could be the Grammar Rodeo show that has been in the works recently. We don't really know for sure, but those are the latest things that we kind of talked about for anybody just coming into the chat. That's the latest plot stuff. Plus the droid special they might... Yeah, the droid movie is still supposed to come out too. Plotline happens, Vader gets resurrected by Moff Gideon in Mandalorian Season 3. Yo, Mandalorian Martin, maybe they could do it with the World Between Worlds. That would be cool. But I kind of doubt it. Candela Flores, welcome into the chat. She said, I think Candela says, if Ahsoka spit on me, I would apologize and thank her. Probably should have read that beforehand, but okay. All right. Continuing on from that, Mandalorian Martin says when Mando goes to Jakku to find a bounty, but runs into Rey on the way. Like young Rey or like older Rey? I don't know about that. That'd be interesting. Mandalorian Martin says Mando says, "Who are you? I'm Rey." Just takes her name. Thanks, Invader coming back for Mando sounds sweet. It would sound sweet. I mean, it's not gonna happen, but it sounds sweet. Omega does the white armor for Ahsoka. That would be dope. Dons the white armor. Yeah, talented Mr. Griffin. I think we could see that white armor still come into play. I'm hopeful for it at least. And that would be it would be dope to see her just pop up in Ahsoka or probably the Book of Boba Fett Season 2, just walking up in that white Mandalorian armor. That would be dope. Young Rey, yeah, young Rey would be cool to see in the Mandalorian at some point. That'd be dope. Or at least maybe the Palpy clone, maybe her daddy, maybe young Sheev. We have to think that Marvel and Star Wars are owned by the same company, so they won't want to butt heads with the other projects. True that, Lord Vito. Alright, y'all, we're gonna bring this stream to an end. It has been a great time hanging out with you guys, and I hope you've had a good time as well. Just to recap one more time, we did talk about Peter Ramsey potentially directing some episodes for the Ahsoka Show, which I am super hyped for. You already know that Star Wars Celebration 2022 is about to be one of the biggest events of the year for Star Wars fans, and I am super hyped to be going to that. Hopefully I can get my streams kind of set up and working to be live streaming from there for you guys to see sort of what's going on from the audience perspective. I think that could be really cool to do. Make sure to subscribe to Vader's Lair if you are new to the channel. A big welcome to you if you are. Smash that like button because it really does help us get pushed through the algorithm, get pull in other Star Wars fans to bring more people into this awesome Star Wars community that we are building. Hope you guys have a great day. We might be streaming some games after this, whether we play Fallen Order or Lego Star Wars. Let me know in the chat what you would rather see us play tonight if you want to come out and hang with us for that stream as well. I appreciate all you guys for hanging out in the chat. Thank you to everybody that donated. Shout out to you, Tim. Everybody, much love. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and may the Force be with you guys always. Peace out, y'all. Before we go, yes, Thursday we are going to be continuing our chronological Clone Wars rewatch, so if you guys want to come hang out with us for that, again, subscribe to Vader's Lair. Much love to you, Ashton, just pulling up into the chat. Much love, Wizard, Brian Stone, everybody, Jedi Jen. Much love, y'all. Star Wars MCU OG as well. Thank you guys for being in the chat. Go give some mother flipping love to mother flipping Mike Porter, my guy. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and may the Force be with you all always.